welcome Phil Bloyd.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you for being my ride yesterday from the airport. Great chauffeur, by the way. Hey, what I've learned in my 3.75 years of being with this movement, I call it a movement because we're just now getting started in my career here. I mean, I could work and raise money a bunch of different places, but this is where I choose because this place is so important to our country. In this organization, I think there's 4 types of members, and I want to know what type of you are. You, the ones I figured out, people want to see how many patriots they have and who they're related to and stuff like that. That's one type of member. Okay. Then we got members that are social, and they like to be involved in the color guard. They come to all the meetings and they just want to have a place to have a meal together and stuff like that. My chapter meets monthly, but we probably have 4 meetings, 5 different events, probably a week. I mean, we have so many. We actually team up with other chapters in the area. And then there's people, maybe like Tracy, that just spoke, and a guy named Joe Dooley, who some of you all know, who are into history. Matter of fact, and here's what I mean by that. Joe Dooley could probably tell you what George Washington had on his back pocket in the 5th battle, whatever. And I told him one day, I said, well, George Washington didn't have back pockets. So that's how deep some people get. And then you got people like me, and not that I'm special or anything, but I think our country, like Tracy said, is so divided. We're divided left, right, black, and white. And it's driving our country apart. What can we do? It's through education. It's through museums and education getting people involved. So what I'm trying to do, it's more than just raising money. It's just keep getting people involved. You talked about Bill Samuels. Now, Bill Samuels just became a member. And I showed the guys that we were with last night at dinner what Maker's Mark is looking to do for us. We're looking to have a Maker's Mark bottle, an SAR bottle, 2 different types of bottles. One's going to be a 250th anniversary. And I wish I had pictures of that. I have one on my phone, but I don't have it up here. I didn't think about that. And then we're going to have just a SAR bottle that I'm hoping that I can get to all the chapters. Right now, I'm probably going to go, I'm working on them right now to try to get it all donated, but they're a little stingy at the moment. But I'm having to use my skills here a little bit to try to do that. But let me show you, it's a short, I'm going to be honest with you, probably 9-minute video of what the museum is going to look like.
The American Revolution is set to open a world-class education center and museum, one that reintroduces the story of America's founding at the SAR headquarters on Museum Row in Louisville, Kentucky. This state-of-the-art destination has been made possible through years of development and research and the continued support of SAR members, historians, and generous donors. From the Main Street entrance, visitors will step into an inviting, welcoming retail area where they'll have a chance to gather and shop and get ready for the incredible story that's about to unfold. A pair of detailed scale models, the Bonhomme Richard and the Philadelphia gunboat, held prime visitors for that story, along with artifacts, portraits, and a full-scale replica Liberty Bell. Visitors can also learn about the SAR and how to begin their own journey to membership in the Genealogical Research Library next door. When they're ready to venture in, visitors will purchase their tickets and step through the gallery doors into another time and place in our nation's history. 1763, the end of the French and Indian War. Visitors enter a period of change in North America, when the seeds of conflict would begin to take root in the colonies. An animated migration map illustrates how the British colonies came together, from the first European settlements to the flood of migration more than a century later. The King's Proclamation in 1763 forbids settlement west of the Appalachians. Britain also issues a trickle of new taxes on the colonies, without the consent of the people. Visitors meet 2 individuals who share their accounts of the fury sparked by the controversial Stamp Act. Many more personal narratives can be found in the museum, drawn from real people who lived through the Revolution. As a new wave of laws descends upon the colonies, visitors learn about the written word in safeguarding our rights. The Voice of the People interactive, built into a replica printing press, lets visitors create their own pro-patriot broadsides using real images of the day. By 1773, the conflict between Britain and the colonies is about to boil over. In Boston, a tea protest gives rise to the Coercive Acts, the king's hope to squash defiant colonists in North America. In the Green Dragon Tavern, visitors can join the Sons of Liberty and plan the Boston Tea Party in secret, then see if their choices win out. These cutting-edge digital experiences will travel beyond the Education Center and Museum. SAR chapters around the country will be able to share the interactive programs with their communities via tablets, computers, and more. By 1774, the colonies have had enough. Visitors see the First Continental Congress take shape and learn about the patriot leaders who will guide the coming revolution. Displayed prominently nearby is the signing page from the Articles of Association, which bears the names of John Adams, George Washington, and Patrick Henry, a crown jewel in the SAR collection. Visitors can even hear Patrick Henry's words if they listen closely. His famous Give Me Liberty speech echoes through the doors of St. John's Episcopal Church.
Or give me death.
By 1775, war is inevitable. Visitors experience the shot heard round the world and the battles at Lexington and Concord as they cross over a replica of the Old North Bridge. Musket fire rings out as film projections recreate the frenzy and danger of the day-long fighting. This immersive experience leads right into the War for Independence Gallery, where the story of the Revolutionary War comes alive. Personal narratives return in the War for Independence Gallery with incredible stories of courage and patriotism on and off the battlefield. Above, dynamic upper world vignettes recreate key moments of the war through theatrical effects, scale replicas, life cast figures, and artifacts. Visitors learn about the Patriots' quick victory at Ticonderoga and bravery at Bunker Hill and the year-long siege of Boston that expels the British from the city. Visitors learn about the failed invasion of Canada and efforts in Congress to reconcile with Britain under the Olive Branch Petition. Others, however, believe a stronger, more determined approach is needed. Visitors dive headfirst into the Declaration of Independence, from the earliest handwritten draft to its ratification and printing. Visitors will explore the reason for the words, the inspirations and deeper meanings that help forge the landmark document. What follows is a series of perilous defeats for the Continental Army, which teeters on the edge of losing the war. But Washington's gambit at Trenton helps turn the tide. Throughout the War for Independence Gallery, animated battle maps, created in collaboration with the American Battlefield Trust, will show visitors how each campaign unfolded in the colonies. Visitors will also see replica uniforms and never-before-seen artifacts from the SAR's growing collection. These rare artifacts tell incredible stories, and every one of them will be seen by the public. Items will rotate on a regular basis, giving visitors a fresh experience with every visit. The dawn of 1777 brings two new campaigns by the British to break the American spirit. Philadelphia falls in September, but the Continental Army scores a precious victory at Saratoga. The winter isn't so kind. Visitors learn how Washington's beleaguered army fights through harsh weather and disease at Valley Forge to emerge as a disciplined, well-trained fighting force. And not a moment too soon, as France formally joins the war as America's ally. More artifacts and life-cast figures demonstrate all of the many individuals fighting in the Revolution, while the Weapons and Uniforms interactive details all the various weapons and accoutrements used on the battlefield. Visitors can also try their hand at some of the unique methods used by American spies to pass along information in secret. Once again, each of these digital experiences will be made available to SAR chapters and communities around the country. Because the SAR is headquartered in Louisville, the museum will pay special attention to the Western Theater and George Rogers Clark's campaign to secure the region from the British. It'll even feature a scale model of Fort Nelson, which once stood in Louisville where SAR headquarters sits today. It's just one of several highly detailed scale models that will appear in the museum. As they near the end of the gallery, visitors learn about the war's shift to the south, where the fighting turns brutal and bloody. It's 1780. Charleston falls. The traitor Benedict Arnold captures Richmond, and Tarleton's dragoons cut through American troops at Waxhaws. But the Continental Army rallies at Cowpens and Guilford Courthouse the following year. Spain lends a hand with sweeping victories at St. Louis, Mobile, and Pensacola. The stage is set for the decisive confrontation at Yorktown, where the French fleet cuts off Cornwallis's escape as Washington tightens his grip. The surrender comes swiftly. More animated battle maps give visitors a dynamic perspective of every campaign, every engagement in the latter part of the war. And of course, each one will be made available to SAR chapters and communities across the country. The war concludes soon after Yorktown. Delegates from Britain and the United States meet to negotiate terms. After the treaty is signed, George Washington, leader of the victorious army, resigns his commission granted by Congress and heads home. In the years after, America struggles to find its footing under a weak central government, the Articles of Confederation. Change is needed. Visitors explore the words of the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights and learn how they were conceived, debated, and ratified. Finally, visitors step into the final piece of the museum experience, an immersive theater space that uses projections, lighting, and sound to recreate crucial moments in the safeguarding of rights during the American Revolution. From the very first protests in the colonies to the ratification of the Bill of Rights, visitors witness history being made at every turn as the founders fight to secure the very rights we hold true today. Visitors conclude their journey through the American Revolution where they started, in the retail store, where they can take home items from their favorite moments of the experience. The SAR Education Center and Museum is primed and ready to transform the SAR headquarters in Louisville and deliver the awesome story of the American Revolution to every community across the nation.
That's good. Thanks, Mark. Mark, let's see if we don't have any pictures of... Now, these pictures here were taken Thursday afternoon, not those. Hang on.
Time travel.
Those are presidents that have been members.
Okay. Hang on just a second.
My IT guy's working on it.
There.
Not that one.
This is our Texas Eagle Scout winner from last year who won national, by the way.
So Texas is very important to us. This is one picture I wanted you to see here. This is connected to the museum, believe it or not. So everybody goes to the museum. Well, this is our library. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that before. One of the best genealogical libraries in the country. And 2 levels there. A lot of money spent on that, and that's all your hard-earned money. And one thing you need to know about us is we have no debt. So all of our money we spent so far that we've raised for the building, for the planning of the museum, for the library, it's been a little over $16 million before last week. So that's a lot of the hard-earned money built all this, but we have no debt. Go to pictures of that we took on Thursday afternoon. There you go. This is what's happening right now as we speak. This is the museum being built. A lot of y'all saw the big empty room before. Go on and keep, yeah, so it's going. And it's, this is an old building we're in. We're on Museum Row. We're right across the street from the Louisville Slugger Museum and Bat Factory. So, you know, we have 1.2 million people a year come up and down that street. A lot of pro baseball players. And they bring the Hall of Fame in once or twice a year. So we have people peeping in the windows now. So we're going to be able to hopefully add to our membership with this thing too. Just people being curiosity. But this is, you know, there's about 15 to 20 construction workers in there all the time right now as we're working on this thing. But we're only going to do it in phases till we pay for it. Like I said, we're not taking out a loan for this. But I don't know if you heard yet. You probably saw some emails come out last week that we were trying to get some money from the state. We ran into a snag about a week and a half ago. But as of last Thursday evening, about 6:30 p.m. at night, I was there when it passed. So it looks like we're getting a $5 million grant from the state of Kentucky. So it's going to pay for this here, and then the legislators, we got, I think there's 5 or 6 of them becoming members now too. So that's really good. It's really putting us over the edge, so we can keep going. So it's great. So we only really need about $8 million more. That sounds like a lot, but when you got pushing 40,000 members, it's really not that bad. And we got some good contacts to make. We still have a lot of naming opportunities. We have not named the outside of the building yet. So, anyways, and those are, I've never seen these tall metal studs before. I actually have been in construction some too in my lifespan. So, it's a very historic building. Right on Museum Row, there's a kids science museum. There's a Fraser History Museum. The Fraser is a bourbon. It's the Brown Foreman family. That is Woodford Reserve, Old Forester, Jack Daniels, and some other brands. But this is what's going on right now. And look who's that ugly guy. Oh, that's going to me. They let me in without a hard hat. I can talk my way in a lot of things. But that's what's going on. Also, through the foundation, we're trying to. I told the story. It's kind of the good, bad, and ugly. There's a prominent attorney in Louisville, Kentucky, who lives probably less than 400 or 500 yards from here, on our side of the street. And I had lunch with him about a month ago. And his wife's the deputy mayor of Louisville. He's seen our statue out there. He's lived there for 32 years. Now, we haven't been in this location for that long, but he didn't know who we were. I think that's horrible. So my goal is to get us out there and get some prominent members and try to get some PR. And lately we recruited Travis Tritt, a country music guy. Ricky Skaggs said he's going to do some stuff for us. He's a member. Of course, we got Florida Senator Rick Scott, who said he's going to do some things for me. He actually he pulled me out of a meeting one time that we were in and gave me a cell phone number and said, call me if you need me for stuff. And he was supposed to help me with a prominent guy, but they had a falling out, a guy by the name of Elon Musk. Believe it or not, Musk qualifies. He had a grandmother living in the United States. So I got a guy in Florida that says that lives down there that was a test pilot, says he knows him. So he's supposed to introduce me to him. He said Musk was a little mad a couple months ago when he cut his salary. He lost $56 billion or something like that. And he said, give me a couple of months when he calms down a little bit and we'll go back to sing. So I'm on your all's time or everybody else's time. And here locally, a guy that, one of my local members who's kind of a prominent guy who took a company public and everything. He lives in Lexington, Kentucky. I tease this guy a lot. I like to have humor. My job's kind of tough sometimes. I like to use humor. He owns a big horse farm. He has no horses. That's kind of like having a big cattle farm down here with no cattle, or wearing a hat and no cattle, or something like that I've heard. But so we're trying to get Elon Musk in. I don't even need his money. If he just tweets out to his 152 million followers to join, stuff like that. So if you got any ideas on people like that we need to recruit, that's what we need you guys to do. And so you don't need to donate a lot of money. If you got it, we'll take it. But we just need you to be, saying, I love Texas. When I worked for the Scouts, our headquarters down here, I spent many, many weeks down here training and going through things. But actually, I learned to bird hunt in Texas on King Ranch. So, love that. So some old sayings from that. I just need you to be bird dogs for me. Just keep your eyes and ears open for anybody who wants their name on this building. Like I said, 1.2 million people come up down the street. Anybody that wants their name out in front of this and help us out quite a bit, that would be great. A couple other guys that we've recruited. That's another guy owns a bourbon. And believe it or not, I really don't drink bourbon. I don't really care for it. My family members did it. And of course, I'm always proud of my relatives, I guess. But, when your ancestor gave whiskey and guns, it's not a good combination. But I guess if it helped, anything helps, right? If it gets you through the night.
It was for cleaning. The bourbon.
Cleaning, okay. All right, that's good. Yeah, we did use alcohol during COVID, right?
Yeah.
So, Bill Samuels is excited. There's a guy named, if you saw a movie called Horse Soldier, there's a guy named Scott Neal. He was one of the first guys over there. He became a member. Now he's got a bourbon out called Horse Soldiers. And I just talked to him yesterday when I was in the airport. One great thing about sitting in the airport for hours, you can sit there and make texts or phone calls. And he's going to be in Louisville next week. So anyways, We got guys like that, and there's one local fella here that I was getting ready to tell you about my buddy down in, that he was in Palm Beach the other day, and he met with the Hunt family, the guys that live here, and he called me up and said, can you find him a patriot? I can't remember the guy's first name, but his dad was Lamar, right?
Clark.
Okay, Clark. So he met with him. My friend's looking at running for office, and I think they may help him do some things there, but he was down there. He's actually, my buddy's actually down in Mar-a-Lago this evening. He's getting an award with 7 or 8 other people, and he's meeting with Trump this afternoon. But anyways, so Scotty Neal and we're going to get the hunts. And here's what we're going to try to do with the hunts. Besides, when we get them involved, I'm trying to get where we can get all of our color guards to get involved with the NFL games. So how good would that be if we're at Cincinnati, Dallas, wherever, all the games. I mean, I live closer to Cincinnati and Indianapolis. Have our color guards out doing that for the NFL games. So that's the things that we're working at from the home office.